President Biden came to the briefing room yesterday for the first and possibly the last time in his presidency, equipped with some sharp words for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as Israel assesses its options for retaliation against Iran. Monday will mark 1 year since the massacre perpetrated by Hamas that started this now widening conflict. Is the United States doing enough to help finally degrade Iran's ability to attack Israel and advance its other objectives? For more on this, we're going to bring in North Dakota Republican Senator and member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Senator Kevin Cramer. Senator, thank you so much for being with us. President Biden says he's done more than anybody else to help Israel. As we assess the state of the war at this 1 year mark, how would you assess the Biden-Harris administration's support for our closest ally in the region?
Well, thanks for having me, Tom. And to that point, when I heard him say that, when I heard the audio of that yesterday, I was a bit outraged, quite honestly, because the reality is we wouldn't even be in this circumstance if it weren't for the projection of weakness by Joe Biden over the 4 years he's been president of the United States. He has absolutely put out the welcome wagon, if you will, for a lot of this world on fire event that we're seeing, both in the Middle East as well as Ukraine. What we see happening in the Asia Pacific. All of this is a result of the weakness he's projected with regard to him being the most supportive president ever for Israel. Every time he does provide some aid for Israel, he puts conditions on it that make it difficult for Israel to actually use it, with regard to kinetic aid, for example, weapons systems. Every time he says we support Israel, there's a but afterwards. But here are the conditions that Israel needs to meet. He's very critical of Benjamin Netanyahu at a time when Benjamin Netanyahu is just trying to keep his people safe and his country alive, realizing that the people that are attacking him want to annihilate the nation.
Senator, President Biden also remarked this week that he would not be supportive of Israel launching a retaliatory strike on Iran's nuclear sites or even oil infrastructure. He did that just prior to giving the green light to an airstrike on Houthi assets in Yemen, which many military observers said should have been done months ago. Israel has clearly made significant progress toward degrading Hamas and Hezbollah, killing Hezbollah's acting leader in an airstrike as well, just over the last day. What should the U.S. do to advance this progress in the months ahead?
Well, the first thing we got to do is get out of Israel's way. Give them the weapon systems they need, certainly provide the defensive systems that the president has provided. But again, the aggression on Israel is a result of the projection of weakness. But what he should not be doing is getting on international television and saying what he won't allow, whether it's going after nuclear assets, whether it's going after oil assets. You don't have to project a strategy or the limitations of a strategy, and remembering too that all of this is political posturing on his part. On the one hand, he wants to support Israel. On the other hand, he doesn't want to offend much of his political base in the United States. He doesn't want an escalation, except the thing that creates escalation is the projection of weakness. He talks about ceasefires. Ceasefires are always better for the aggressor, because they're going to regroup and reload. So you're right. While Netanyahu and Israel has been effective at degrading much of Hamas and Hezbollah, at the same time, he wants to give them the time to regroup. With regard to the Houthis, though, you're exactly right, and the critics are right. He should have done something a long time ago. We were calling on the White House to go after that spy ship in the Red Sea that was providing the guidance for all the Houthis weapons that are being shot not only at Israel, but certainly at our own military, both in the Red Sea and then in Iraq and, of course, Jordan.
Senator, I want to shift gears with you. I just have about a minute left with you. Millions of Americans across the Southeast currently grappling with the fallout from Tropical Storm Helene. They're looking to the federal government for immediate assistance, something DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says FEMA may not have the resources to accomplish. Illegal immigrants are getting free housing, free health care, thousands of dollars in cash. But folks in North Carolina have barely seen a federal response to this disaster. Your reaction and what can be done to help get them the help that they need?
Well, like everything we talk about, Tom, this is a matter of screwed up priorities. FEMA has had plenty of money. We've just passed a continuing resolution that included a lot more money for FEMA. The problem is that they spend it on the wrong things, and they just have, they're inept at distributing it. One thing I've noticed about the Southeast is those states and those communities are more than capable of helping themselves. They just need the resources from the federal government. That really, it's something that's a rich tradition in the United States of America, is the aggregated generosity of the taxpayers of this country will come to the rescue. But the locals and people coming from surrounding states as far away as North Dakota are ready to help. FEMA just needs to get out of the way, provide the resources, provide their expertise that they can. And then we'll be fine. When we get back to Congress, we can fund more if necessary.
Yeah, and just, people always expect Washington to come and help because they're paying so much, but it's just so sad that they cannot rely on these resources that are being provided to the federal government. North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer, thank you, sir. Always appreciate you being with us.
Thank you. My pleasure.